When you were younger, your brain just worked faster, right? But now you catch yourself zoning out on the subway and suddenly you've missed your stop. Or you make a decision to do something and then, boom, you've already forgotten about it a second later. Does this mean you're just dumber than everyone else? In fact, a lot of the normal stuff you do every day is actually killing your brain. Think about this for a second. It's another morning, you roll out of bed, grab some breakfast, put on your favourite podcast, and start replying to work emails. And meanwhile, of course, you're on the subway. You're juggling a million things at once. But here's the problem. Multitasking makes you dumber. It's actually been studied. Back in the 80s, a scientist named Harold Pachler found that when Harvard students tried to juggle 2 tasks at once, their brains dropped to the level of an 8-year-old child. And honestly, you're probably in the same boat. You sit down to read, but you get distracted by a call from the delivery guy, and then, whoops. Book. What book? When your mind's scattered, even your physical strength drops. Ever notice how it's harder to get anything done when your brain is just blocked? That's because the part of your brain that makes decisions, the prefrontal cortex, has a really limited capacity. Imagine it like a stage. Your thoughts are actors trying to take up space on that stage. The size of the stage is how much you can handle at once. Once it gets too crowded, new actors can only get on by pushing the old ones off. So how many thoughts can fit on that stage? Psychologists say the average person can juggle maybe 4 to 7 things. Some people can only manage 1. So here's the key. Stop mixing tasks. Instead of multitasking, break your day into blocks of time and focus on one thing per block. Got a task on your mind for later? Write it down and deal with it later when it's time. You can also regularly check in with yourself and reduce distractions. Now let's talk about stress. Ever been in a situation where your grades slip and your parents yell at you, you slack at work and your boss is on your case, or you leave your homework until the last minute, and then panic when the deadline hits? A little stress is okay. It wakes up your brain, makes you alert, ready to go. But if you stay stressed for too long, it's slowly killing your brain. So how does that work? Well, when you're stressed, your brain kicks into high gear. The limbic system gets activated, and internally, the amygdala pulls all your mental resources away from the decision-making part of your brain. That's why you can't make good decisions when you're really stressed. It's like trying to think when your brain is freaking out. And all that stress, it also pumps out cortisol, which speeds up your heart rate, raises your blood pressure, and gets your breathing all out of whack. Your body is in a panic mode. But stress hormones stop your brain from making new memories. They can even destroy the cells in your hippocampus, the part of brain responsible for memory. So yeah, huge emotional trauma can mess with your ability to remember things long term. Why does your brain freak out so much? Well, that's because your brain isn't the shiny new model. It's the version your ancestors needed to survive wild animals. Back then, your brain was super sensitive to stress, so you could quickly react to danger, like a tiger jumping out at you. But now we're living in a world that's all about fast-paced situations. And guess what? The brain never got updated to handle all this modern chaos. So how do you deal with all this stress? When stress hits, the best thing you can do is calm your brain down. To do that, you need to distract your brain's emotional system. Get your brain thinking about other things. You can listen to sounds around you, or listen to some music, or take a few deep and slow breaths, or just take a jog. They all help to turn down the stress. In simple terms, when you hit a roadblock, pick one thing to focus on. If that doesn't work, go take a walk or get some rest. We let our environment slowly take over because we don't see the marks they leave behind. But once you understand what's happening, you're one step closer to taking control of your life. All right, that's all for today. If you like Stickman, please subscribe and I will see you next time. Bye.